It's actually interesting because you're white. I'm a black person. Our camerawoman is Asian. So it would have been very interesting if this person came along and says, "Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this rainbow coalition that's over here. So I'm going to push them out." No, I guess the question I should have asked you is, were the previous 5 interviews you had, were they with white people? Because then that might have raised a few flags.
Let me think. Let me think. I think it may have been. Because
there you go.
So anyway, here's a question: can a white congressman become a voting member of the Congressional Black Caucus?
That's a very good question. I don't know, because I mean that issue came up because there's the Democratic congressman in Tennessee, Steve Cohen, I believe is his name, he's Caucasian, but he represents a majority black district, and there was questions about whether he would be allowed into the Congressional Black Caucus. Now, in fairness to the Congressional Black Caucus, they often don't even let Republican black members in. So maybe they have maybe they are somewhat consistent. It's not just.
But this was a Democrat.
This was a Democrat. But I'm not sure how that was eventually resolved. But that's a great question. I mean,
I've actually interviewed several members of the Congressional Black Caucus, and they've all confirmed to me that if you are a white congressman, you cannot become a voting member of the Congressional Black Caucus. Just in case you didn't know, you can take my word or reporting. I interviewed John Lewis and Clyburn, and they all agreed that this is the case. So,
well, I mean, I think
if this is the case, the question is that not a racist policy?
My sense, based on the standards we've been talking about, I would suggest that that's a racist policy. Now, I'll say this fair. I mean, my own sensibilities tend to lean in the libertarian direction. And that you come into this kind of a question, though.
So do mine, by the way.
Okay. Well, no, you come into this, and this is actually a legitimate question. If a private club, and the CBC is in a slightly different category, but if a private club has made a determination that they don't want to, they only want to have men, or if they only want to if it's an African American fellowship group, they only want to get together, or a white fellowship group, or whatever. If they're a private group, in the context of how the United States is in terms of trying to maximize liberty, I would call those groups somewhat ill-advised, but they have a right to do that. You have a right to be privately. I think you have a right to be privately racist.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly, but I mean, they should have the right to exclude people from different races, but that doesn't change the fact that they are racist.
That's exactly right. No, that's it. No, that's right. That's it. That's no, that's right. I mean, but I think it's important, though. If we want to name it that, I mean, sometimes those on the left throw the R word around a little bit too much. But if you want to call a golf club racist because they don't allow black members, or they, by coincidence, they just don't have any black members at all. Look, that's
Tiger
fine.
Woods?
They're allowed. I don't think. I think he was allowed in when he won the Masters 4 or 5 times exactly. But you've got to realize that you can't have it both ways. If you're going to say that we're a private organization, we believe in liberty, and we accept only who we want to accept. That's absolutely fine. I have no problem with that from a constitutional standpoint. But realize that you may be bringing upon yourself, some social opprobrium, saying that because
Absolutely.
Based on not the Constitution, but based on sort of the moral aspect of what America is about, we still condemn that.
Right, and isn't the reason why we condemn that what's at the root of Martin Luther King's statement? Shouldn't you make associations based on the values that you share, on the principles that you share, as opposed to the race you share?
I think ideally, but no, I will. Ideally, I think that is true. However, I don't have a problem with certain social organizations who, if they believe that their affinity, their ethnic affinity, their religious affinity, what have you, is a core component, and